After 10 years of playing Hawkeye in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Jeremy Renner is honored with his own prestigious Disney Plus series, and it looks like this. Hello everyone, I'm Hunter, and today I will explain my 5 reasons why the new Disney Plus original series Hawkeye sucks. Hawkeye isn't the most popular character on the Avengers, and it's obvious why that is the case. He's a generic middle-aged white man with no supernatural powers or technological prowess. He's simply a man with a bow and arrow. From the very beginning, Jeremy Renner's interpretation of Hawkeye has been one of the most boring and unimportant characters in the MCU. As Haley Steinfeld says in episode 2,
"Your problem is branding."
The problem, however, is larger than branding. We already know that Disney wants to sell more merchandise and NFTs. It's that he is not a strong character. Marvel enthusiasts may feel differently, but I only remember one brief moment of Hawkeye from the original Avengers movie, and that's because the iconic scene has been shown in promotional videos for nearly a decade. I wouldn't have cared if he had died in Avengers Endgame. Black Widow died because the audience genuinely cared about her as a character. The death was the emotional payoff for her journey. Hawkeye? He didn't even have any story to speak of. Kevin Feige, the god of Marvel, has decided to pass the torch to Haley Steinfeld instead of reinventing Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye. It's simply too late for him, or in other words, they are creatively bankrupt. The first reason Hawkeye doesn't work is because it makes the same mistake twice. Haley Steinfeld, one of the hardest working actresses in Hollywood right now, is an appropriate choice for the next iteration of Hawkeye. She's young, popular, and she has the experience of working on large productions for toy movies. She is also very talented. I finished watching Arcane on Netflix, and she did great voice work there. The problem is that her character is weak, and I don't imagine that will change after only 4 more episodes. Kate Bishop's backstory is established in the beginning of episode 1 when her life is upended by an alien invasion. For the uninitiated, Marvel movies and TV series are interconnected, so this is the same alien invasion from the Avengers movie in 2012. Her father is killed and or lost in the aftermath of the invasion, but more importantly, apparently, is that she saw Robin Hood firing arrows at aliens in the sky. It's quite poetic, really. Hawkeye, or Clint Barton, will become a father figure of sorts to Kate, and the inciting incident was aliens. Masterful storytelling. 9 years later, in an attempt to impress her friends, Kate shoots an arrow at a church bell, and it not only rings, it collapses. She is quite the archer. She is also trained in martial arts and fencing. Her mother manages a company of some kind, and Kate is able to work there and inherit her own apartment in downtown New York at the age of 22. I wish I was her. She is beautiful, strong, and rich. It's almost like she's a superhero. This is a character I'm fundamentally uninterested in. How can she grow as a character? She isn't a working class hero balancing their social life and career with crime fighting, and she isn't a rich megalomaniac using their riches to build something bigger than themselves. She is almost the definition of if the rich white girl from math class met Hawkeye on the street one day. The second reason is that for an action-adventure series, the action doesn't look that great. Hawkeye has a budget of $150 million. Let that sink in. $150 million. It may not seem like a lot of money compared to the most popular movies of today, but once upon a time on Netflix, Marvel produced TV series of significantly better quality on a budget of $56 million, and it looked like this. I understand that Disney requires that all of their content meets a particular standard of violence, gore, and profanity, but the real success of Daredevil, for example, is the technique. It has style, it's an adrenaline rush. In Hawkeye, action is filmed in muddy blacks and grays and medium and close-up shots with no coherent story. It sucks. The third reason is that the story's tone is fundamentally at odds with the nature of the story itself. The understated moments between Hawkeye and his family, Kate barely containing herself at a fancy dinner party, or the tension between Kate and her mom's new boyfriend, suggest that Hawkeye is this slow, mature drama underneath. It's not a huge action superhero movie, it's a heartfelt father-daughter holiday series. The reality is that it's a live-action cartoon for children. The hallmarks of one are all here. The squabbling third-rate thugs literally named the tracksuit mafia, the G-rated action scenes, and of course the easily digestible story. In the first 2 episodes, the main conflict is that Kate accidentally wore Hawkeye's old Ronin costume, and Hawkeye must abandon his Christmas with his family to find it. What he should have done was abandon this role entirely and spend time with his real-life family like he intended to. The fourth reason is that it should have been a movie. I understand the appeal of long-form storytelling. It's where the audience is. People don't go to movie theaters anymore, and COVID-19 has essentially put the whole industry to bed. And of course, TV allows Marvel to introduce more characters, expand the universe, and perhaps tell more interesting stories. But the result is similar to that of a TV movie. It has the star power, production value, and cultural footprint that any Marvel movie has, except it's worse. It's video on demand for a reason. The first 2 episodes alone are normally told within the opening 45 minutes of a normal superhero film worth its salt. That isn't to say that every superhero series should be a movie, but for a story as straightforward as Hawkeye, it definitely should have been. The fifth reason is that Jeremy Renner deserves better. Renner's performances in Wind River, Arrival, and The Hurt Locker, for example, were strong. But as he grows older, his career prospects shrink and the opportunities with it. I find it kind of sad, watching him on screen here. I doubt that many share my feelings on this. He could genuinely love playing Hawkeye, or maybe he's paid very well, maybe both. But a Disney Plus series shouldn't be his final bow. I don't want to seem hateful or unfair. I understand that the title of the video evokes anger, but its main purpose is simply to attract attention. I obviously don't like the series, but I'll watch the next episode or 2, and depending on if I have more to talk about, I will cover the rest of the series. If you are interested in what I have to say or you enjoyed watching, please like the video and write a comment on what you thought of the show or even my review of the show. Feedback is always welcome. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video review.